Well, we're straight back up to the start, Sarah.
As we head up to the start list for the PR3 mixed double scull in lane 1, Australia, lane 2, France, lane 3, Brazil, lane 4, USA, lane 5, Germany, and lane 6, Great Britain.
Yeah, we're quite quickly on to the start. This is the most important event in the afternoon programme. 5 of these boats will qualify for Paris. Ailes and Altrega, the world's best time holders, over there in lane 1. In lane 2, Alberdi and Cadeau from France. There they are. The Brazilians in lane 3, Diana Barcelos de Oliveira and Jairo Frolic Klug. There they are in lane 3, 35 and 39 respectively. 10th in the fours, the PR3 fours in Tokyo. Wallenschläger, Gemma Wallenschläger in the bow of the American boat, and now Todd Vogt, who came 5th in this event. Gemma Wallenschläger, the 20-year-old, hails from Florida, went to Temple University. And German combination, Valentin Lutz and Hermione Krumbin, Annabelle Caddick and Sam Murray over here in lane 6. The British combination, you would think it's going to be a battle, Greg and Sarah, between lane 5 and lane 6 to grab that 5th place.
Yeah, important to recognise those 2 races that are going to be going on here, I guess. At the front of the field, it's the gold and silver medal. And then, of course, it's the race not to come last, because the top 5 will get those places in Paris.
And we're away in, as you said, Martin, the most important race of the afternoon, because it is a Paralympic boat class. The rest of the races we have today are non-Olympic and non-Paralympic.
That was the Brazilians getting away from the start, and it looked a bit bumpy, didn't it? You know, it's wavy on the course, and it's Brazilians over there on lane 3 who've let the rest of the field get a slight jump on them.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of a tricky start there for the Australians. They got a little dropped off the line there. I think it got a bit of dirty water, but getting themselves back into the race now. They are the race favourites. They've been unbeaten this season so far, and they, of course, are the world best time holders, as we see Nikki Ayres and Jed Olschwager start to move through the field.
Yeah, it's the Germans in front at the moment, Lutz and Krumbin. What a good start from the Frankfurter Gesellschaft. Orsman and Hermione Krumbin from Ruder Club. Norman.
Yeah, no, good start for the Germans on this side of the course. We're taking a look at them. We're also looking at Caddick and Murray, the British pair. But yeah, here they are, the race leaders, and just starting to edge their way into the front on the far side of the course. Of course, it's the Australians up there in lane 1, and Sarah, they're getting a jump on the field now.
They are, Jed and Nikki, absolute superstars. They're one of our hot favourites for the Australian rowing team, and they have established themselves with almost a length over the field at this early stage of the race. And as a reminder to everyone, we saw the PR2s come down the track in the last race. This is the PR3. PR3 are rowers with residual function in the legs, which allows them to slide the seat. So unlike the race before with the fixed seats, and this class also includes athletes with vision impairment. But look at this lead here to the Australians coming through the first 500 metre mark. Absolutely dominant. Jed and Nikki from Australia, coached by Chad King and Christine McLaren.
Is he a Brit, Chad King?
No, he's Australian.
Oh, is he?
He is.
Ah, so it's an all-Australian effort. Sarah Cook, CEO of Australian Rowing, wearing a heart on a sleeve there. It is the Americans that we just saw, Gemma Wallenschläger and Todd Vogt. Again, a reminder that top 5 crews will go through. The Brazilians, after that slow start, Barcelos de Oliveira and Frolic Klug moving back up the field. The Brazilians had 2 different boats trialling for this class earlier in the season. These are the 2 that have made it. They both finished 10th in the Paralympics in Tokyo in the PR3 Cox 4s.
Yeah, and those Brazilians there, we see them right in the forefront of our screen with the Australians in the background. The Australians look like they're getting away, trying to get hold of that gold medal. But will the Brazilians be able to work their way back on the rest of the field and get themselves up into that para qualifying place for Paris?
Well, I've never pretended to be anything other than unashamedly biased when it comes to Australian crews, but I am delighted, of course, to see Jed and Nikki in the lead. But this is the race that a lot of people were looking and waiting to see, was how the Americans and the Australians would shape up against one another. Jed and Nikki with a narrow margin at this stage, because it looks to me as though the American crew is coming.
Yeah, the American crew, a new combination this year. Gemma Wallenschlager was named Temple Women's Rowing Athlete of the Year in 2023. Todd Vogt, his claim to fame was he worked security for a Nirvana concert when they played on his campus. He was right in front of the stage, shoving people back into the mosh pit. And now he's 48 years of age. That was a while ago. Nirvana back in 1990, I think. But the man from New York, Portland Boat Club, is powering that American double through just a little bit of clear water margin through the 1,000-metre mark.
I'm not sure it would have been Nirvana in 1990, Martin, but that's not that much of an important detail in the story.
As we come through the 1,000-metre mark, Australia comes through in a time of 4.01.82. So no records being broken today. The world best time that they set, 7:07 in Varese, is a ways off, but unsurprisingly in these conditions, they're not quick conditions. They're down on 31 strokes per minute, looking really long and powerful here. Of course, this Paralympics in Paris will be the first time that the PR3 mixed double scull will be making an appearance. So delighted to see the Aussies still in the lead.
Well, I might be letting myself down with my Nirvana knowledge, but I'm very interested in my knowledge here between this race for the bronze medal between the French over on the far side of the course and this British double. And seeing Laurent Cadeau sits in the stroke seat of that French double. Of course, he was in the full team previously, now rowing in the para team.
Yeah, great scull by the Americans, isn't it? Over there in lane 4, the Australians over there in the favoured lane 1. You can see what troubles Gemma Wallenschlager is having, the 20-year-old, with the water out there in lane 4. And it's surprising that they're actually so close to the Australians in that position.
We see a great shot there of the Australians, Jed Olschwager in the stroke seat. He's got 2 young kids and his wife at home in Adelaide, who I'm sure are watching this. Absolutely delighted, even though it's quite late in Australia at this point in time. But very exciting, no doubt, for Jed's family and friends who are watching from Australia. But another point to be aware of for this race, only 5, as you said, Martin, will qualify for the Paralympics. So it looks at this stage as though it is the Brazilians out of contention for that Paralympic qualification position. They will have to rely on going through their continental qualifiers to try and clinch a position in this event.
Yeah, well, we've seen through those leading positions, the Australians and the Americans. I'm looking to the screen beside me, and what it's showing me is that we're still in a very close race between the French and the British. You can see the distances there. It's only 4 metres apart for the bronze medal. And then, as you say, Sarah, the Germans comfortably in that 5th position, pretty well ahead of the Brazilians, who look like they are going to struggle to qualify from this race today.
Caddick and Murray from Great Britain in lane 6, France in the favoured lane 2. It's going to be really difficult for the British to get in front of the French. Laurent Cadeau, of course, finished 10th in the men's 8 back in the 2015 World Rowing Championships in Aiguebelette, has now got classification for the PR3 class and sculling with Elure Alberdi for France. There are the British.
As they come past 2:50 to go, it is still the Australians in the lead. They are the fastest moving boat on the course. There's a number of boat lengths now between them and the Americans. It will be a major mishap that will be the only thing that will stop the charge of the Aussies down to the line and claiming this World Championship.
Australia looking good for the gold medal. Who is in bronze medal position, guys, on our commentator information system? It looks like the French. The British battling against the headwind as we come down to the line, but they will qualify for the Paris Olympics, which I think will be compensation. Nevertheless, it's a great scull from the Brits in lane 6. Lots of Australians here as they cross the line. It feels only fitting that Sarah Cook, CEO of Australian Rowing, should talk them across the line.
Well, the first Paralympic boat class medal is about to be awarded, and it will be Australia with the gold in the PR3 mixed double sculls. Nikki Ayres and Jed Olschwager, coached by Chad King and Christine McLaren, to take the World Championship. Silver will go to the United States of America, and this tight race for the bronze all the way down the track, but it will be the French that will get the better of the British to take the bronze medal.
Yeah, the British coming in 4th place. Paris is assured, as it will be for the Germans. I think they might have themselves a little celebration, the Germans, and tough luck on the Brazilians, who had that difficult start. They come across the line in 6th. They will have to qualify next year for the Paris Paralympics.
Yeah, great scull to silver medals for the American pairing there. But yeah, the Australians came into it as the favourites, Sarah, and controlled the race, got into it well in that, I guess, around 500 metre gone, and from then there was no looking back.
Yeah, dominant performance there from the Australian PR3 mixed double scull. What a year that Nikki and Jed have had in this boat class. Confirmation of that result.
There's some replay that we saw of this race off the start.
Yeah, that American pairing sculled pretty well, didn't they, out on this lane 3, but the Australians had a good ride and they made the most of it. They'd earned that position on lane number 1, sculled very nicely along the course there.
Dame i gospodo, molimo vas da ustanete i pozdravite himnu Australije.